So, despite having the support of every party in government, as well as the backing of the majority of the opposition and most of the main NGOs, the referendums on family and care were given a resounding no. And I want to go to our audience first tonight, because I know we have some people here this evening who were with us for our referendum special 3 weeks ago, how things have changed since then. And we also have some new faces in the audience tonight. And I want to just ask first, on the care referendum, who wants to tell me how they voted and why? Anyone want to tell us that? Yes, yourself. Just 1 second there, I'll get the microphone down to you. Yes.
Hi, I voted yes. My mother and father are carers, and presumably when they pass, I will be too for my younger brother. I thought that this would be a good step forward, maybe not the perfect step, and now I'm worried that no government will touch the issue for the next 10 years, 15 years. So
you're feeling very disappointed by this weekend. Anyone else, any other yes voters who were, you were no? Well, give us you voted no then.
I voted no, rightly or wrongly. I saw it as a way for the government to absolve themselves from any responsibility for the most vulnerable in society, particularly people who couldn't care for family members with complex issues. And as an English literature academic, I found language incredibly important, and this use of the word strive sent red flags to me, because it suggested, oh, we'll do our best, but sure, if we can't, at least we've done our best. It just was so ambiguous, I said no.
You couldn't back it?
No, not at all.
I see you nodding along to that. We'll just get a microphone to you.
Well, why I voted no is because as a mother and as a woman, I refuse to be deleted from the Constitution. I feel from the get-go we were lied to by the government when they said a woman's place is in the home. The Constitution does not say that. The Constitution does not say that. And then I feel like other campaigners, the likes of the National Women's Council, jumped on board and kind of reiterated those lies, and also nearly made it like a women's rights movement. How is it beneficial to women in any circumstance to remove us from the Constitution? So
how do you feel today now that language is still there? You have no issue with that?
No, I'm delighted. And I find it offensive, to be honest with you, the way the government has now perceived the no and the rejection of their amendments. Now it's like they're telling us that we were too stupid, that we weren't aware of what we were voting for. I'm not stupid.
You knew why you were voting no.
And I knew why I was voting no.
OK, I know, Matthew, you wanted to... Can we get a microphone down to Matthew here in the front? How did you vote, Matthew?
I voted yes, because I thought that it was a stepping stone for more legislation to come into act for people with disabilities and for carers. OK, so even though it wasn't everything you wanted, you thought it would get you some part of the way there? Yeah. OK, and how did you feel? Disappointed.
Disappointed, yeah?
Yeah.
OK, thank you for that, Matthew, and thank you for coming in tonight. If there's nobody else who wants to get... Yes, yourself, just before we go back.
I also voted yes, because even though there were some strong arguments on the no side, I thought that both amendments were quite kind of perilous and therefore symbolic. And I thought that, in the same way, kind of a symbolic step forward and away from old language would be worth going for, considering that strive and endeavour are both very loose terms according to the law.
OK, but you said it was better than nothing, basically.
Yeah.
OK, thank you for that. Now, I'm going to go to Aisling now. Aisling, thank you for coming in tonight, because I know you had to make a big effort to get here tonight, because you care for your son, Jack, who has very, very complex needs. People might know you from your online campaigning for a no vote for this. So just tell us first a little bit about Jack.
Jack has Down syndrome, and he has rare autoinflammatory disease. He has mild scoliosis and hip dysplasia. He has chronic lung disease, cardiac defects.
I think we have a photograph people can see Jack there. That's a few years ago, and I think we might even... That's a more recent one. Will come up there. So Jack is... What age is he now?
And the list goes on. Yes. I'd be here all night if I was telling you everything. But Jack is fed through a Jedge tube into his jejunum, and he's fed around the clock. He is on 20 different meds per day, numerous times a day. He requires around-the-clock care, and if it's not me looking after him, it has to be a nurse. The reason I voted no is because the wording is absolutely vague and weak. I don't care about being recognised. If I'm going to get recognition, I need to have support. They have to go hand in hand. My son is 18 and the word endeavour has been used up to this point, and I have seen how the state endeavour to support my son, and it's not good. We have to fight every single day for every single thing. I'm talking about equipment, I'm talking about nursing hours, I'm talking about home support, I'm talking about transport, I'm talking about education, I'm talking about health. I mean, children are waiting on lists, their health is deteriorating. Jack turned 18 in July last year, and when they turn 18, that's it, off the edge of a cliff they go. And so my battles are only beginning. I'm really upset that the government didn't listen to the wording from the Citizens' Assembly. I'm really, really upset that
Would you have supported that wording?
Maybe.
Reasonable. Would that have caused other problems?
Do you know what? It wasn't perfect either. It was better though. I'm very disappointed in a lot of NGOs who supported yes vote, and they did not ballot their members. That to me was shocking. You can't purport to represent a cohort of people if you don't ask them how they feel. The majority of carers that I know and people with disabilities were voting no, because people with disabilities, their autonomy was being disregarded. Who says because you have a disability that you have to stay with your family and that your family have to care for you? Who says a family are able to care for you? Who says that you're safe with your family caring for you? It's just, there's so many issues with that I don't even know where to begin. The state has got to support everybody who needs support, so people with disabilities, and of course carers are the ones who are looking after many of those people with disabilities. Like, you know, if I became ill tomorrow, where would Jack go? You know, the reality is he would probably go to hospital, or he could end up in a nursing home. Like, he's 18, I've already been offered nursing home for respite support for him. There are crisis beds in the country which are supposed to be there in respite and residential homes, and they're not there because why? There are crisis people in those beds in a crisis.
Aisling, thank you so much for coming in. I know you had to make very special arrangements to get here. We appreciate that. I want to bring in Sinead now. Sinead, you were with us for our special referendum programme on the referendums, and at that stage you were calling for a yes vote, and you, like Aisling, you also have a teenage son with a lot of additional needs.
Yeah, Dan is 16 now, he'll be 17 at the end of the month. He has severe intellectual disability, a multitude of issues. It'd be too long to go into them all, but he needs 24-hour care and he needs me for everything.
Yeah, I think we can see Dan now. Yeah. People at home will be able to see Dan.
As you can see there, I give Dan everything, so I bring him out into the world, into the community, and he's ran 7 marathons. It's all assisted by me, so I do everything. I strive. So there's the word strive that I use. I strive to give him everything. To me, it's the strongest word I could use for Dan. It's the strongest word I use in my family, because I strive every single day to give him the best of life. I'm so disappointed with the government on both sides, really. One on how the no side display themselves, how they put me and carers down and the yes voters, how I was named an ableist. And I'm far from an ableist. I'm far from discriminating disabilities when I raise a son and when I'm very active in my community for inclusion and disabilities. I'm far from that. And I thought that was a most disgusting comment to say to anyone, and to be so unkind to those that were on the yes vote. And they dampened us down. They didn't allow us to speak. They were putting narratives out there that weren't always true. They were using individual experiences, and they weren't always the ones that are around the country. They're similar to ones around the country. Like Aisling, she has to fight, I have to fight. But in saying that, I have Dan at home. I care for Dan at home every single day, and that's where I want him to be. I don't 100% feel that the state has to give me everything but recognition for what I do. Mm-hmm. I believe in that 100%, and I don't believe that it was about taking the rights of disabilities away. I don't believe it was about obliging carers to care. It wasn't about that. It was encompassing the word of care within the home. And that took on a whole different thing. It was about care within the home within all levels, not just children with disabilities, care for the elderly, care above all. And when you ask anyone, where do they want their child to be? Is at home being cared for? Where does my mum want to be if she's sick or dying? At home to be cared for. Where are those parents that want their children that have life-limiting illnesses want to bring their children home to die at home and get palliative care? So home and care, and that needs to be provided within the home.
How did you feel on Saturday when those results started rolling in? You realised that there had been such a resounding no.
It was quite obvious to me in the week previous to see what was going on social media, that it really was going to be a resounding no. The fact when they were starting to call us ableists, the horrible words that were said about me, I was uneducated, unkind. So it really allowed me not to...
When you say said about you, this is online, there was abuse?
This is online, yeah. The abuse that we got was unreal. The abuse, the people that messaged me, the horrible texts that I got, people coming up to my face saying they were disgusted at me. And the one thing that resounds in my head is the picture of politicians in Dublin Castle jumping around, delighted with the vote, and me at home with services, not fighting, wanting to care for Dan, wanting everything for Daniel, and they thought, let's jump around, let's cheer for this. But they never thought how anyone would feel about this. And the way I feel about it is that I respected everyone's no vote. I didn't turn away any politician that wanted to talk to me about a no vote. I didn't. I respected, and I had great debates with them. I never done that to anyone online, and I was sickened by that. At the end of the day, I wasn't recognised beforehand. I'm not recognised now. I have to be a voice for Daniel. Those with disabilities that have no voices are kind of sometimes discriminated against because it's the parents or the carers that have to talk for them. And when we do, we're dampened down because we have no rights.
OK. OK, thank you, Sinead. I really appreciate you coming in tonight.